YouTube channel. So you can actually now get the recording or watch it live on our YouTube channel to actually stay informed and updated about what we do. So you're welcome to this session, and this is how I begin. Now, the topic for today is gold as a key asset and a way of diversified investment portfolio. Now, during the course of this webinar, I'll be making some form of safe statements, and I would actually like to include a disclaimer. We are very rest assured that this webinar was done by insightful research, but the presentation will also contain forward-looking statements, which will actually need you to verify with your investment advisor before you actually make an investment decision. Because we are using a lot of financial terms in the course of this webinar, we need you to actually consult your financial advisor before you make an investment decision. Now, this is the management that actually handles the affairs of Dukia Gold. We have Mr. Babatunde Fabeni, who is the chairman, Ms. Bosede Owolabi, who is the managing director, and Paul Beesley, who is the chief operating officer. Now, we are looking at some key aims of this presentation. We are looking at all the types of asset classes we have and how gold positions itself as a key asset. Now, remember, we're talking about asset classes and why gold is actually considered a key asset in an investment portfolio. We'll look at gold as an investment portfolio with some definitions of investment, diversified investment portfolio, and the rest. We'll look at the historical performance of gold. We'll look at gold as a hedge against inflation, and look at gold's low correlation to other asset classes. Now, for an investment decision to be made, you need to ensure that it actually aligns with standard sets. So we'll look at the importance of LBMA standards in ensuring quality and how Dukia Gold ensures compliance and transparency with all gold transactions. Then we'll look at the future of gold in investment portfolios. We'll look at trends, the unique position of gold as a key asset, and Dukia Gold's commitment to innovation and accessibility. Then we'll take on the conclusion, the questions and answers. Then we'll now wrap up the session. Thank you all so much for joining, but I'll hand over the microphone to Mr. Paul Beesley, who is the Chief Operating Officer that will represent the Managing Director to actually take the welcome address. Mr. Paul, you have the floor.
Thanks, Emmanuel, and good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us. As you've seen, what Emmanuel's going to talk about, and it's going to give an awful lot of detail. But as a general overview before we go into the presentation, I've got a few points that I've picked out that I think are fairly relevant around gold investment and what's been happening and why we're seeing the strong moves that we've seen throughout this year. So, I mean, obviously, number one is the geopolitical conflicts that we've seen going on around the world. Two, and I think this is going to be an ongoing factor, is de-dollarization. This has started some time ago, and gold has benefited greatly from this. I don't think that this particular area is going to go away. So I think this is going to be one of the big supporting areas for gold. Other areas that have come out recently, and I think this is part of what's going on in the business world and in the tech world. Within the gold industry, we've seen sort of a 7 to 10% increase quarter on quarter in gold consumption for tech products. So largely driven by electronics and AI-based chips. So that, again, I don't think that this is going to go away. This technology is only going to move forward. There are enormous amounts of money now being spent on data centers around the world. These are going to need to be filled with very, very powerful, very powerful chips. Fourth, central banks remain active buyers of gold. Again, this probably comes as part of de-dollarization, and as a part of de-dollarization, that will also be to move, assets out of US dollar bonds. And looking at the sort of the slight negatives, I think, although as would be expected, jewelry consumption has dropped. We've seen a strong uptake of ETF investments as well. So I mean, there are many reasons why this would happen. There are a lot of people out there that are momentum traders. So the trend is their friend. They will pick up on markets that are rising and get into them and sit with them as long as they possibly can. And further, part of this ETF investment has been as a benefit from flows out of US bonds, as investors have turned to gold as a more effective diversifier in a balanced portfolio. I think, I've certainly talked about in past presentations how the old mix of equities and bonds as a balanced portfolio that hasn't been working and hasn't worked for some time. So I think I think that we're still seeing this movement out of bonds into gold. So those are my sort of overarching thoughts on what I see going on in the market. So let's hand over now to Emmanuel to run us through his presentation, and I hope you all enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Paul, for that beautiful welcome address. Now, as I said, let's head over immediately into the crux of the presentation. Now, we'll begin by defining some basic terminologies concerning gold and investment classes. The first is, what is actually wealth? Now, wealth refers to the abundance of valuable resources or material possessions, including money, property, and other assets. It represents the net worth of an individual or entity, which is calculated by subtracting liabilities from the total value of owned assets. Now, the wealth of an individual is the abundance of valuable resources, which can include financial wealth, stocks, bonds, savings, and invaluable wealth like land, real estate, investment grade gold, bullion bars, and coins. Now, if you subtract the total liabilities from the person's owned assets, you now get what you call net worth of that person. And that is a pointer to how much that person is wealthy or not. The second definition is investment. An investment is the placement of capital, an expectation of deriving income or profits from its use or appreciation. Now, investment is when you place a capital amount of money in expectation that that money will either increase or gather profit from its use. Now, you don't only invest your money when you talk about investments. You can also invest your time, which you are doing by attending this presentation. You can also invest your energy and your resources. So investment is the placement of capital and all your time, energy, resources in expectation for deriving income or profit from its use. Now, what is an investment asset? According to Investopedia, an investment asset includes tangible and intangible instruments that investors buy and sell to generate additional income, either short or long term. So investment assets are the tangible assets like cash, like real estate, like commodities, like gold, and intangible assets like stocks and bonds that an investor buys and sells to generate additional income. Now, what is an investment portfolio? Now, all these assets, investment assets that people buy and sell, the summation of all these assets into a unique file classifies what I call an investment portfolio. It's a group of financial assets that's cash, bonds, currencies, and investment grade gold owned by an investor. So all the assets you're actually buying and selling from and expecting that it gains additional income or use is what I call an investment portfolio. Now, what is a key investment asset? A key investment asset refers to the valuable resources or possessions that generate income, appreciate in value, or provide liquidity. Like you look from this chart, there are investment choices you can actually make to actually gain value for your money. It can be antiques like artworks, it can be stocks, bonds, it can be mutual funds, it can be commodities, collectibles, or whichever ones you prefer to trade in to gain more value for your money. Now, what is a diversified investment portfolio? Now, a diversified investment portfolio contains a mix of distinct asset types in an attempt to limit exposure to a single asset or risk. Now, let's say you choose to invest in of Apple. Let's say you choose to invest in the federal government bonds, federal government debts, which are called bond. Let's say you choose to invest in a real estate in Lagos, Nigeria. Why are you actually doing these things? That actually classified as your investment portfolio, but why? Why do you have to diversify and invest in so many other things to actually make up an investment portfolio? And the biggest reason for that diversification is to mitigate the overall risks in an investment portfolio. When people actually diversify their assets or diversify their investments, you actually balance up your investment portfolio in case of if stocks goes down or the real estate market crashes or bonds are not yielding enough returns. That portfolio that you actually have is actually balanced. This means when one asset is down, another might be up, which can help balance the overall investment returns. Now, we are talking about how gold is a key asset in a well-diversified investment portfolio. And as of June 2024, you can see that the price of gold actually rose to $2,532 as of June 2024 this year. We can see the gold chart actually moving in an upward direction, and it's hit $2,532 in June 2024. But guess what? As we all know today, gold has actually climbed to $2,700. So why is gold actually a key asset in an investment portfolio? We are talking about the risks and the performance of gold, meaning that it can actually climb from $2,500 in June, which I mentioned, to actually $2,700 and even more. As per the opening remark that we heard from our Chief Operating Officer, you can see that gold has actually been performing well in an investment portfolio. And this is why you should actually include it as part of your investment returns. Now you can see that the dollar exchange rate has kept on falling. Currently, it's around 1,700 or 660, but probably around 1,700. So to actually mitigate against this currency devaluation, you actually need to get an asset that can actually increase in proportion to that decrease. And gold is actually a valuable asset to actually make that increase perceptible for you. Now, why is gold? How has gold performed, and why is it performing that way? We can see the conflict is intensifying in Israel against Hezbollah's announcement to the war in Israel. Investors are flocking to gold, a traditional safe haven asset. Now, the world continues to face so many economic uncertainties, from the real estate to the commodities to the money market and to the stock exchange, because of rising conflicts all around the world, the Russia-Ukraine crisis, the current US elections, and multiple uncertainties that actually balance the flow of currency. Now, for investors, they're actually looking to make sure that their assets are actually hedged and actually safeguarded. And that's why most of them key into gold because of its performance. So in times of economic uncertainty, the value of gold has actually performed well. And this is actually a need for you to include it as part of your investment portfolio. Coming home to Nigeria, the continued high inflation rates compounded by the instability of the electrical power grid have created economic challenges affecting household security, factor output, and overall investment stability. As traditional assets like stocks and bonds face pressure from these conditions, gold's upward performance has become increasingly relevant. The resilience of gold as a safe haven asset is evident as it holds value amidst currency depreciation and inflation. With fewer reliable investment avenues, gold provides a stable source of value, protecting investors from economic volatility and offering a reliable hedge against inflation and market downturns. All this means is that the resilience of gold as a safe haven asset is far more important in Nigeria because of the high inflation rates and the economic instability of our current environment. And fewer investment avenues have actually provided that performance that you've seen of gold. And that is why gold is actually valuable and needful as an investment asset. As I mentioned earlier, the $1 is currently 1,723 naira, and gold has actually maintained purchasing power. Unlike fiat currency, which loses value as inflation erodes purchasing power, gold tends to increase in value. This means that from that graph I actually mentioned earlier, as your naira continues to devalue and devalue and devalue, gold's performance actually increases because it now helps to offset that currency value. So if you have 10,000 naira today, and by the end of the year, the worth of that 10,000 naira is about 7,000 naira. If you have 10,000 naira worth of gold today, the worth of that 10,000 naira worth of gold by the end of the year will never be 7,000 naira because gold has continuously performed well in times of current inflation rise. Now, among gold, equities, bonds, and crypto, which is actually better? The answer is not either a yes or a no. Each of these asset classes actually have their own performance indicators. But gold typically does not move in tandem with other major asset classes. During stock market downturns or periods where bond yields are low, gold often holds or gains its value because gold is primarily driven by supply and demand and market sentiment about safety and security. It's not affected by the nature of the organization, unlike stocks, and the ability of the federal government to pay debt, unlike bonds. So it's primarily dealing by supply and demand and the market's need for safety. And also, you know that gold is not as volatile as cryptocurrency, as Bitcoin and other stable coins, because these coins actually fluctuate and are very volatile. But gold, you can actually see the performance, and you can actually see that the need is actually there. That's why the price will keep increasing. But first and foremost, what is actually gold? Because I've been saying gold, and its performance for the past 10 minutes. But what is actually gold? Is it this gold that we actually know from secondary school chemistry or what? No, it's not that one. The real gold that you actually know is a highly liquid asset. And you're talking about investment grade gold, not non-investment grade gold, not your jewelry, not your watch, or not your chains. We're talking about pure investment grade gold used by investors and banks and organizations to hedge their value. And this is the reason why, because it's a highly liquid asset, because it's no one's liability, because it carries no credit risk, and it's scarce and historically preserves its value over time. Why the gold price has kept increasing from $2,500 to currently $2,707 means that it historically preserves the value over time, and it's a scarce commodity. I mean, gold as an investment grade gold enhances a portfolio in 3 ways: delivering rapid returns, improving diversification, and providing liquidity. Apart from gold used as an investment, it's actually used as a form of jewelry, and as a technological component for computers and engineers. But we are not talking about those uses of gold, those non-investment uses of gold. We are talking about investment grade gold, like this, the bullion coins, and this, the bullion bars. And here, why do you need to invest in gold as an individual? One, as I said earlier, you need to invest in gold as an individual because of its hedge against inflation. Gold has historically been a reliable hedge against inflation. And as the cost of living increases, the value of your currency will also decrease, but gold retains or even increases its value. And during times of high inflation, investors turn to gold to safeguard their wealth, as it often outperforms other assets that may suffer. The second is a safe haven asset. Gold is considered a safe haven asset, meaning that it is preferred investment during times of economic or geopolitical uncertainty. Now, if you have a house, a piece of real estate in a time of war, that real estate cannot do you any good. If you have cash in a time of war, that cash may not eventually be accepted in other countries. But if you have gold in a time of economic instability like wars and terrorism, you can actually go to anywhere in the world, from Switzerland to Nigeria to South Africa to US to United Kingdom. You can actually go anywhere in the world and obtain the market value of that gold. So far, it is verified. So it's not only accepted in one country, meaning like, oh, it's a currency that is only used in Nigeria, like the Naira. But you can actually go anywhere in the world and get the market value for your gold. This positions gold as a safe haven asset. Also, as I mentioned earlier, gold is an important tool to diversify your investment portfolio. One, you need to actually look at your stocks and your bonds that you have and see how much performance that can get you if it does not actually perform well with gold. That means when other assets are underperforming, gold will definitely perform well, balancing the overall performance of an investment portfolio. The fourth reason is gold is very liquid. Liquidity means that it can be easily bought and sold in global markets, ensuring that investors can quickly convert their holdings into cash. As I mentioned earlier, gold, 99.9% gold in Nigeria is still widely accepted in the United States. It's still going to be widely accepted in the United Kingdom, and it's still going to be widely accepted anywhere around the world. This makes gold as a very liquid asset. The fifth is wealth preservation. Now, for centuries, gold has been used in preserving wealth, from the ancient Egypt civilization to the banks that we all know, to the central banks, Bank of England. Most banks and most organizations in time past has actually been hedging their wealth in gold. Now, the sixth is the potential for appreciation. While gold does not provide income like dividends from stocks and rental income from real estate, it has significant potential for capital appreciation. And various factors such as market demand, economic conditions, and geopolitical tensions can drive up the price of gold. Investors who buy gold at lower prices can benefit from substantial returns when the price increases. In summary, why must you invest in gold? Because of the performance like we have here, because it's actually used to balance your investment portfolio, because it's a hedge against inflation, it's a safe haven asset, and it's used as a private wealth, can easily be transferred. The next, we are talking about gold stability and compliance with international standards. For an investment asset to actually be relevant, it needs to actually comply with international standards. And we are talking about how gold actually met all the criteria used by the world for its use as an investment asset. In Nigeria, the current economic climate, the stability and reliability of gold is more vital than ever. As inflation remains high and infrastructure challenges persist, gold offers a dependable store of value. However, it is only as secure as the standards that govern it, meaning that gold as an investment asset is only very secure as the international standards that govern it. And we have a body set where compliance with gold is mandatory, and that is the London Bullion Market Association. which ensures that gold meets rigorous international criteria for purity, weight, and quality. The LBMA is the foremost authority in setting the global standards for gold, including strict guidelines for responsible sourcing and quality. By adhering to LBMA standards, we at Dukia Gold provide investors with assurance that every gram of their gold in their portfolio meets the highest level of quality and ethical sourcing that is crucial for building trust. LBMA certification verifies that the gold is not only genuine, but also responsibly sourced, addressing ethical and environmental considerations that modern investors value. What this talks about is that there's an international body that sets the standards for gold, and that is the London Bullion Market Association. Now, this international body sets the required amount of gold, of investment grade gold for its purity, weight, and quality. It's like saying, oh, the Central Bank of Nigeria regulates the Naira. Yes, in Nigeria, but now the London Bullion Market Association regulates investment grade gold. And for you to actually verify that the Naira you have is authentic, if you pull out a piece of Naira notes from your wallet or from your cash, you will actually see a signature on it. That's the signature of the central bank governor. That signature actually verifies that this Naira note you actually have is trustworthy. Now, in the same thing for gold, although it's not a currency, there are actually a body of international regulators that regulates that gold meets its purity and weight. So that anytime that you want to buy or sell investment grade gold, you can actually be rest assured that what you are buying is actually signed, not by the central bank governor in this case, but by an international body. That international body is the London Bullion Market Association. Now, the London Bullion Market Association has a list of standards that every gold firm or every mining company must meet before they are registered on their platform. And we can rest assure you that Dukia Gold has actually met these required standards for investors and customers to actually be rest assured that every gram of gold in their portfolio is ethically sourced and it meets the highest level of quality. So you cannot come to us and buy gold and having a feeling that we'll sell you 70% gold. It's a lie. That won't happen. You can actually come to us and buy gold that your gold that you have in your portfolio is actually ethically sourced and it meets the required rates of purity. And that's what Dukia Gold complies with. So, as I said earlier, the LBMA's main role is acting as the voice of the precious metals market, as well as the contact point for regulators, investors, and clients. It ensures the continued evolution and health of the marketplace for precious metals, in which all participants can operate with confidence. Further, it coordinates market clearing and vaulting, promoting good trading practices and develops standard documentation. It also sets objective criteria for institutions wishing to enter the market as traders. Like as I mentioned earlier, the central bank is actually the bank in charge for regulating the Naira currency that we have in Nigeria. Just the same way the Federal Reserve is actually in charge of regulating the US dollar. But for gold as a precious metal, we have a body called the LBMA that actually regulates it and makes sure that every gram of gold is actually sourced ethically. Every institution that's trading in gold is actually meeting the required criteria. And every customer that has gold can actually get real value for their money. And Dukia Gold has actually met standard criteria by the London Bullion Market Association, meaning that we incorporate regular audits, rigorous sourcing practices, and transparent transaction processes. Meaning that for you as a customer or potential customer, every gram of gold we have with us is ethically sourced and is rest assured that you can take that gram of gold anywhere you have and get real value for your money. If you buy a gram of gold with Dukia Gold, you can take it to the United States and we'll still get the real value. The same way you can take it to the United Kingdom and still get the real value for your money. And that's what Dukia Gold does in complying with international standards that regulate the gold industry. For Nigerian investors facing inflation and currency depreciation, LBMA certified gold offers a stable, internationally recognized asset class that can weather local economic shocks. This means that Such certification means that the gold is regularly accepted and valued at a global standard, increasing liquidity and potential resale value. And you can get real value for your money and can trade it anywhere you want. Investors benefit from the reassurance that their gold holdings can retain value globally, making it an ideal asset for both preservation and growth in uncertain times. The next is the future of gold in investment portfolios. Now that you've seen the performance of gold, now that you've understood that gold is a hedge against inflation, now that you've understood that gold is a key asset in an investment portfolio, what are the patterns? What can we predict? This one that gold has performed from June at $2,500 to October, entering November at $2,700. Can it perform better in your investment portfolio or can it perform worse? Can you actually predict that your investment portfolio will actually be way better by including gold into it than before? And that's what we are going to talk about in this session. In today's volatile global economy, marked by inflation and currency movements, geopolitical tensions, gold remains one of the most resilient assets. Unlike stocks, bonds, or cryptocurrencies, which can experience severe price fluctuations, gold's value is historically less susceptible to external shocks. This stability offers a layer of protection for investors against losses, as you can see from the graph. Particularly in Nigeria, where inflation and currency devaluation impacts purchasing power, gold serves as an essential store of value. As economic uncertainties increase, even this US presidential election, which is coming up on November 5th, gold's role as a safe haven asset strengthens. This means that investors can have a reliable hedge that maintains value when other assets falter. What this whole story is telling you is that the current global uncertainties will not decrease, it will definitely still increase. And from the historical performance of gold, as outlined by this chart, we have actually seen it moving in an upward direction. Although there was a downward direction, there was a breakout in price from 2012 to 2020, we can actually see this price moving straight up. As I've shown you from earlier charts, gold was at June 2024, gold was at $2,500. At January 2024, it was about $1,800. Currently now, the value of 1 ounce of gold is $2,780, as you can check from our website. This means that gold will actually hedge your value and actually give you a better return for your money than investing it in Isusu or stocks or government debt or whatever kind of asset classes you have. Now, primarily before, they used to tell us the 60-40 principle. That means you should keep, for an investor, you should keep 60% of your money in stocks and you should keep 40% of your money in bonds. But we've seen that this actually hold value because stocks and bonds can be decreasing at the same rate and increasing, as we've seen from this year. Stocks and bonds can actually fall to the brim. You can have a stock in a company that eventually collapses. Bonds can reduce a far less value for your money. This means that it's a better tool to actually keep not just 40% of your money in bonds, but actually keep 15% of your money in bonds. That 60% of your money in stocks that you were happy about in the last 10 years, it's best now to keep 45% of your money there. But you could actually include gold at 15% of your investment portfolio. Before, gold was not even considered, but since the recent times and since banks and organizations have increased their purchasing power of gold, it actually means that for you to benefit of this investment, you should actually be keeping not just 15% of safe haven gold, but 10% of performance gold and another 10% of commodities like silver, lithium, iron, and other rest of investment assets. That means a whopping 35% of your investment portfolio should include gold, while the rest can be including other assets like stocks and bonds. This will now give you better value for your money than the regular 60-40 principle we were taught in secondary school. Now, clearly, as I've shown you in the charts, gold has a potential to actually reach $4,821 in 2030. Currently, as I've said earlier, it was June $2,500 in June 2024. In January, it was 1.8, and there was a kind of resistance against $2,000. But currently, as of today, as I'm speaking to you, 1 ounce of gold is currently $2,780,000 from 2005. There is no investment asset that can perform with that percentage in a short amount of time. Not even investing your stocks with MTN can give you that kind of return as investing your money with gold would. So we are actually imploring you that you should take up this opportunity to actually invest in gold, not just because we are telling you to, but we have shown you evidences, we have shown you graphs, we have shown you the reality of economic uncertainties that actually position you to keep your money in gold. Now, Dukia Gold is at the forefront of making gold investments accessible and innovative, aligning with modern financial needs. Now, if you want to actually get gold, there needs to be a safe and trustworthy platform for you to actually do that. And through our digital token initiatives, we offer a unique entry point for investors seeking a blend of traditional asset security with digital flexibility. Our platform, the Dukia Gold website, is actually open for you to actually benefit from this traditional asset class with a spice of digital flexibility for you. By integrating cutting-edge technology with LBMA compliant gold products, Dukia Gold ensures that investors can hold and trade gold easily, securely, and transparently. Committed to both traditional and digital pathways, Dukia Gold provides versatile options that meet the needs of institutional and retail investors alike, reflecting a vision of gold investments that's both resilient and adaptable in a rapidly changing world. And through our digital platform, we have opened the baseline not for institutional investors, but for everyone to actually believe and trade in gold. Now, why should you even trust us? You should say, okay, I've learned so much about gold as an investment asset, but why should I even choose Dukia Gold as part of my investment portfolio? And this is what I'll be talking to you in the next session. So I'll speak to you about who we are at Dukia Gold and why you should actually trust us in safeguarding your gold as an investment asset. Now, Dukia Gold is a leading gold and precious metals reformer in Nigeria and West Africa, offering full service bullion solutions. This means that Dukia Gold doesn't sell gold jewelries. Dukia Gold doesn't sell gold watches. Dukia Gold doesn't sell gold chains. We offer full service bullion solutions. That means we offer investment gold bars and investment grade coins, either 1 gram, 10 gram, 1 kilogram, or what have you. Specialized in responsibly sourced raw materials, including gold ore and other precious metals, and refining these materials into high quality, good delivery bars and coins. We are involved in every part of the gold process, from finding new sources and refining gold to buying, selling, and storing it. So every part of this precious metal supply chain, whether it's exploration, providing plant machinery, mining the gold, refining the gold, pulsing it, or down to actually depositing it in a private or a corporate investment portfolio, we are fully involved here. And our clientele includes high net worth individuals, corporate institutions, banks, and financial institutions who want to actually hedge their investment assets against gold. And currently, we've not started doing this today. We have been featured in Business Day, The Guardian. We were actually inaugurated by the former Vice President of Nigeria, Prof. Emmanuel. And we have been featured in so many websites to show you that we have a track record in delivering effective gold products. We started this journey in 2019, and down to 2024, we have kept pushing the ball and hitting the ground running in the gold investment market. Now, our key vision of Dukia Gold is to actually position, recognized as the gold standard across the gold value chain in Africa, as an LBMA accredited processor and the largest exporter of gold and other precious metals products from Nigeria. We are doing this not only for investors or institutional owners, but for you and I to actually benefit from gold. Before, it was so hard to purchase gold at 1 gram. You could be budgeting around 205,000 naira to actually purchase 1 gram of gold. But because we want to be seen as the gold standard, we actually made it easy for everyone to start and open an investment portfolio with as little as 5,000 naira. That means you can, from today, get a value of gold from as low as 5,000 naira, whether you are a market woman, a vulcanizer, a shoemaker, a cobbler, a tailor, whatever you are selling, you can actually make that decision today to keep gold as part of your investment portfolio. Now, there are some big factors to owning gold, which I mentioned earlier. That was the need for the international standards. For you to actually patronize gold, even if you're not patronizing us, patronize only approved gold bullion merchants. That means you should not actually buy your gold from anywhere or bookies, as they call it in Nigeria. We've seen some instances where people actually go and buy gold from someone, and we are telling them that this stuff you bought was actually gold plated. It's not really gold. So if you need to actually buy responsibly sourced gold, you should only patronize approved gold bullion merchants. And the second thing you need to have is ensure that they have an office in Nigeria with a valid Ministry of Solid Minerals Development license and evidence of compliance with these international regulations. You should be rest assured that the gold supplier that you're going to patronize, that they have the valid licenses and international compliance to make sure that what they are selling you is not fake gold or gold-plated jewelry or investment. Now, you need to confirm that their stock of their gold and precious metals products and their trading, distribution, and fulfillment channels comply with LBMA. Now, LBMA has a platform for trading and distribution of gold. They actually ensure that if you're actually selling gold, you must meet international criteria, not just for your country, but from anyone around the world who wants to actually purchase gold. And you need to do that due diligence for making sure that gold that you want to buy, the gold that you want to buy is actually compliant with these standards. And for us at Dukia Gold, we've done all the due diligence for you to ensure that we remain the best and most trusted gold bullion merchant in Nigeria. Now, there are so many other gold bullion merchants in Nigeria, but why people have actually come to verify us and trust us, even the powers that be in government, means that we actually create and fulfill international compliance rules to ensure that the gold that you're actually purchasing is relevant and straight for use. Now, Dukia Gold has the precious metals trading platform. You can please visit dukiapreciousmetals.co, and subsequently in the chat, I will stop sharing my screen and I'll go out to our website so that you can actually see how the whole website works. Now, we responsibly source our precious metals in compliance of WGC, Ministry of Solid Minerals Development, Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, and the LBMA. Now, this is how our website looks like. If you click on www.dukiapreciousmetals.co, you actually get to the website. And this website will give you an overview of how gold investment works. Just give me a minute, let me put it in the chat. Okay, you'll see that this link actually takes you directly to our website, and our website is configured for accessibility and flexibility. That means from the comfort of your homes, you can actually start trading, buying the gold. As a new customer or as a returning customer, you actually have to log in first. New customers will actually click get started, but as a returning customers will click get started, but for new customers, you have to first log in and create an account with us. Now, to create an account, just like you do for your banking apps, you will need an email and a convenient password that only you knows. And you hit on register. Then you select an account. You can either open a gold account as a person for yourself. You can either open a gold account as a joint corporation, that means you and a couple of friends, or you and your spouse, or you can either open a corporate account for your business. you can save and store your value in gold. Now, when you click on create your gold account, you will now have a convenient password. When you create that password, you will receive a confirmation email where you do KYC verification. And please, I must assure you that the KYC verification is actually very, very important for us, because if you do not do your KYC verification, you will actually not be given the liberty to use this account. Because of the strict standards we follow, we require that you actually upload either your NIN for those in Nigeria and your proof of address so that your KYC verification can be done successfully. If you need help following the KYC verification, I will still drop our support email and our relevant emails that you can contact so that we can help you move forward with this process. In conclusion, owning gold is an essential portfolio protection strategy that provides long-term diversification benefits. Gold has served as a key insurance policy against inflations, economic downturns, and geopolitical tensions. And with Dukia Gold, it's easy to get started and own gold. Buying, selling, and investing in gold has been easier, secure, and convenient. And whatever channel works best for you, either physically through our office, digitally through our website, Dukia Gold is your go-to product provider. That means we can actually accept, trade, or help you get answers to your gold as an investment portfolio for you. And this is what we've been doing since 2019. And by the special grace of God, this is what we will continue to do. Thank you so much for attending this presentation. My name is Emmanuel, Nwaka, and I look forward to your questions and answers. Thank you so much. If you have questions or answers, please, you can drop it in the chat or you can unmute yourself. Then either I or the COO, Mr. Paul Beesley, will take you through those questions and answers. Thank you so much for this presentation.
Thanks very much, Emmanuel, for that presentation. It covered absolutely everything that people, potential investors and investors, need to know. Excuse me. I spoke a little bit earlier on about what I think is going on in the market at the moment, that are benefits and disbenefits in the gold price. And there's one sort of overarching thing with gold that I would urge everybody to consider, and that's history. Gold has been used for centuries upon centuries as a mode of transfer of value. This isn't going to change. It's going to be here for a long time. It's trusted. I mean, we see now countries like India have moved gold out of the Bank of England to secure vaulting in their own country. Now, that's nothing to do with the Bank of England not being secure, but it's about taking control of their own value and to be able to use their or the Indian metal in the way that they want to, and also for it not to be seen around stats and the like around the world. So it gives a certain amount of privacy as well. So I think when you're looking at gold, and I talk about history, it should always be viewed as a long-term investment rather than a short-term. It's not going to make you rich very quickly, but over the long term, it's going to help to maintain maintain value and increase the value of your wealth, which is at the end of the day one of the most important things. You know, we like to have, or we all like to leave some sort of legacy or have a legacy. I've certainly got gold in my portfolio, and it's done absolutely brilliantly for me. I would highly recommend it because it's not a lazy investment, but it just gives a nice, warm, fuzzy feeling that a certain part of your portfolio is secure and it's looking after you. So, anyway, just passing on that now. Are there any questions?
If you have questions, just raise up your hand or signify in the chat so we can invite you. Thank you so much. If you have questions, if you have suggestions, even if you have, we just want to hear your voice. I know there are about 10 participants in this group call, so we actually invite you to actually make comments concerning what we've done. Thank you so much. Okay, are there any questions? Or was the presentation that lovely that you just got so filled and blessed with it? Please let us know. Thank you so much.
Emmanuel, I think we've answered all the questions for everybody already.
I guess
I think so. Great presentation. Let's just give people an email, drop an email address onto the chat, please, Emmanuel. And if there are any questions, please pop them to that email address, and then we'll do our best to give you as full an answer as we possibly can. Okay. So thanks again, everybody, for coming along and joining us in this conference. It's appreciated, and
okay.
And I hope that you have all gained something out of the presentation and the discussion that we've had today. Thank you.
All right, just hold on. Okay, just give me a moment. I'll also drop my number, so in case any one of you wants to contact me directly to actually help in your onboarding process, I'll do that immediately. My number is so please take a screenshot of wherever you are. Just take a screenshot or copy these two contact addresses so that you can easily have access to questions, clarifications, and whatever you have concerning the Dukia Precious Metals website. So if you have questions, clarifications, and please, if you enjoy the presentation so much that you don't have questions, you actually get to see the replay on YouTube. YouTube will actually We'll upload the replay on YouTube and send you all a link to actually participate and get your feedback. Thank you so much for being a part of this webinar. We really appreciate it. We appreciate your presence, your support, your prayers, and most importantly, we appreciate your continuous growth and goodwill for the Dukia Growth Platform. We wish all of you well, even as you have attended this webinar. Especially want to thank the COO, Mr. Paul Beesley, for giving the opening remark and making sure that everything was actually in order. Thank you all so much, and do have a lovely Thursday. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks, Emmanuel, and goodbye everybody.
Bye everyone. We'll send you link to rewatch.
Bye. Okay, bye. Yes, we're waiting for the link and for your number.
Okay, my number is actually on the chat. Should I just call it out?
Oh, okay.
You can just take a screenshot of
Is it calling it out now? Or can you put it on the WhatsApp, on your WhatsApp page?
Okay. I'm coming. Let me just give me a moment.
I see the number on the. Oh, okay. The number is on the chat page now. Okay, no problem.
Yes. It's actually on the chat. So just you can copy it or just.
Yes, I've seen it.
All right. Thank you so much.
I think you said you were going to send us the link to be able to have, in case we want to listen again.
No problem. So far you've signed up to this list, you get a link. I'll have to just make some edits to the video and just make it far more presentable. But so far you signed up, you get a link. Rest assured.
Yes, I signed up. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.